and then I'll go. Just make sure you got to watch the waiting room, because otherwise you'll have people waiting in there saying, I'm waiting, no one's let me in. All right, let's go and let. All right, Kevin, you're now the host. I appreciate you guys.
Okay, what is up, guys? Give me just 30 seconds. All right. All right, what's up, guys? Okay, so let me share my screen. Where's the share screen button? Oh, right here. All right, guys. All right. Okay, welcome, guys. Now, so last couple of weeks, I talked about a few different prospecting strategies. Now, what we're going to do today is going to go through some use cases, right? So RVR use cases, and then we've got a special guest that will be having a chat to you guys about how he landed some whale clients, right? All right, so let's get started. Look, so how are the IVRs used, right? How are IVRs used, and how do we use IVRs to get clients? So you probably heard me talk about the IVRs a lot in the last couple of weeks. Now, so IVRs are used a couple of different ways. Outreach, you can pretty much do your outreach on demand. You could be selling premium leads, and I'll get into that very shortly. You can qualify your leads, you can convert your leads, and you can follow up with your leads, right? So we're going to cover so IVR outreach. So why do you want to use this? Because this is a brand new way to reach clients, right? Brand new way to reach clients. Most of you are probably already doing emailing, cold calling, which is a traditional way, but everyone else is doing it, right? Everyone else is doing it. With this is a brand new strategy. No one else is literally doing it. So you'll be the very first ones to actually use it. So, but most importantly, you can use this strategy without ever cold calling, without ever cold emailing, which most of us suck at, right? So some of the problems why you want to be using IVRs is ad cost is too high. So you're probably running ads. Problem number two, cold emails response is shit because everyone else is doing that. You either suck at cold calling or you don't have time, right? So we are getting personally, and we are getting, this is our own results, 20 to 40 calls per day. And this is completely scalable, right? Now, who's getting 20 to 40 calls a day, right? I mean, to do that, you need to make a lot of calls or a lot of emails. So let's say, look, say 1 to 5 makes a booking, and let's say 1 to 5 become a sale, right? So 50 calls, hypothetically, right? 50 calls becomes 10 bookings, 10 bookings become 2 sale. And even if we had just 1 to 10 booking and 1 to 5 as a sale, right? You have 50 calls with potential clients. That means 5 bookings, right? And 5 bookings equals 1 sale. Now, how would 1 to 2 sales per day change your entire agency? I mean, even 1 to 2 sales per week, that would be big for a lot of you, right? So question, how many calls are you getting? How many calls are you actually doing per day? Because at the end of the day, look, whether you're cold emailing, you're cold calling, you're prospecting on Facebook, at the end of the day, you still need to get them on a call. You still need to get them on a call, either to a demo, and the more calls you have, the more chances for you to convert them. So no calls equals no bookings equals no sales, right? All right. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game. Now, for those of you that that have no idea what I'm talking about in terms of IVR, I'll just get you to text this number. Now, I'm not going to go through exactly how it works. You can refer to the previous training, but today is more about use cases, right? Use cases of IVRs. But if you have no idea what IVRs are, text this number, text make my phone ring to this number, and you will see exactly how it works. All right. So that's 213-263-5799, make my phone ring. Okay. So first use case. So one of the use cases, right? So one of the use cases is you can use this for your lead gen sites. A lot of you are running lead gen sites. So how can you actually do this? You could be calling your leads, right? Because most of you have a lead form and they go cold, right? As you know, you want to be following up with your leads straight away, right? But at the end of the day, most of you are probably not doing that. You're probably sending them the email, which they probably won't even see. I mean, email open rates and click-through rates are really, really crap, as you know. But we could use IVRs to call your leads within seconds of opting in, right? So for example, here's a link. Actually, I'll just go here very quickly. All right. So for example, right here, we go, we submit this form, right? As soon as we submit this form, what this will do, this will go to a Google Sheet and it will trigger an IVR. So, so if you want to test this out, I've got the link here. So I'm actually getting a call right now. So that's like what, that's like literally within 5 seconds, right? 5-10 seconds of a lead coming to your lead gen site. And now you're following up with them with the automated call, right? Automated call, you can use this to qualify them, direct them into different departments. And there is a lot of really cool things you can do. So you can check this out in this link if you want to test it out. So that's opt-in 1635311162907. Okay. Now, so why you want to do that? Because while they're still hot, right? While they are still hot, because if they come through your lead gen site, most likely they are probably also searching for others as well, right? They're probably searching for others. So you want to be there. You want to be the first one. You want to be in the face while they are still hot. Now, you could also, so get them through a qualification process and then live transfer this to your clients, right? Once you qualify them, live transfer this to your clients, and now you could be charging them a premium because it's a live transfer, right? Let's say you sell a lead for, I don't know, $10, $20, right? For live transfer, you could probably sell it for $50, maybe $100. I know people who are selling live transfer mortgage leads for $150, right? So you can be charging a premium price. Now, next is qualification. You can use IVR for qualification. And why you want to be doing this? You want to be filtering out all the spammers, right? So again, on live transfer for series leads only, right? So for example, you could use this on your website, on your GMB, on your lead forms, and you qualify them through a sequence of steps, right? A series of steps. So as you just saw in that lead gen site, so for example, you could have that number on your website as well. So when people actually call, you go through a qualification process. And then at each and every one of these stages, you then trigger automations. You trigger automations to direct them into relevant departments. Could be relevant departments, could be relevant, salespeople. But these are all automated calls, right? Automated calls with your voice, You could be like, hey, you know, thanks for opting in. Thanks for your interest in my free ebook, right? Thanks for interest in my free ebook. Let me just ask you a few questions, and then you can qualify them. And then once they respond to the relevant answers you want, you then transfer them on a live call, right? Transfer them on a live call. So it's almost like your personal receptionist, right? Your personal receptionist that is doing this for you with an automated system. Right, next, we can use IVRs for conversions. And why I want to do this? Because there's nothing like a phone call, right? There's nothing like a phone call. You could be cold emailing, you could be doing everything, but nothing beats a real phone call. Now, you could be capturing visitors on your website with one click, right? So, for example, you could be using this is a widget that we've got to capture visitors. So it's an easy one click. You can schedule the calls. You can turn your web visitors into hot prospects, right? Because at the end of the day, if that's, say, look, 1,000 visitors land on your site and probably only, I don't know, 2%, 3% actually completes the lead form. Now, however, if there was an easier way for them to just enter a phone number, someone give them a call back, they can chat with, they can SMS with, they will do that instead, right? So you will easily capture a lot more visitors. Let's say you capture another 1%, 2%. That's a huge difference, right? Huge difference to your overall leads and leads quantity and quality as well. Next, you can use IVRs for your follow-ups. And how to do this is you can use this for your ads lead form. You could follow up with your old leads. You could follow up with your existing clients, right? So for example, you could use this to one-to-many blast out calls within one click to all your referrals. You could do special offers. You could do special upcoming events, announcements, right? Because one of my clients, he has a client that is in the mortgage space, right? He's got a client in the mortgage space, and this mortgage broker has referrals from real estate agents, and every month he gets in something like anywhere between 5 to 1,000 referrals. We're talking like pretty large network of real estate agents, but he gets so many leads coming through. Now, he doesn't really have the human resource to follow up with them, right? So what he's doing is he is pre-recording these sequences and then blasting them out to 500 people. And these are warm leads. He's blasting them out and then getting them to come to him if they are interested, right? So this is a way, and he's doing this, and he could be doing this with just one person because he has a system now to be blasting out these automated calls without hiring, a team of 5 people just sit there and make phone calls. All right, you could also use this for your ad forms. So what this means is, if you're running ads, if you're running Facebook ads, if you're running Google ads, what this will do is, again, it comes back to having an instant follow-up, right? If they're clicking on your ad, they are most likely clicking on other ads as well, right? So, you want to follow up with them instantly. You can do this either for yourself, if you're running ads for your own leads, or you're running this for your clients, for example. You could instantly follow up with them. You could ask them questions, and this can be all automated. You can be sending them info. They just need to click a button, send info. You could direct the inquiries to you, to your closers, to your appointment setters, or direct this to your clients, for example, right? All right, guys. So next, you could also be using IVRs to land whale clients, right? And we have a student here. We have a client here who is already landing $100,000 clients. So let's give it up for Mr. Drew Kramer. He is the king of LinkedIn. Now he has already used a few different strategies, which he will cover with you guys, with ultimately building up a network of a super organic lead gen machine. All right, so let me just bring Drew. Are you there?
Yep, absolutely. I'm right here. Thanks,
right.
Kevin. Appreciate that lovely picture in motion. Yeah, but like you said it earlier, this whole thing is about getting them when they're hot and multiple touch points. It takes a client sometimes several times to see your name or your business for them to actually engage. If that means booking an appointment, answering a phone call, just even responding to your message. Sometimes it takes a few times, so what I've done is obviously grabbed all of Kevin's stuff, all the tools. So I'm running the Facebook automation. I have Chirply with the IVR going. And then on my side, I've been doing LinkedIn outreach and automation for about 2 years now. So I've already had that going, and I was trying to find a way. Okay, I get them in the door. I build up the network. I'm able to pitch them, but how can I re-engage? How do I follow up the right way? And that's what this actually brought in. I was able to convert and to just get so many more touch points and ultimately more appointments, more sales out of it, which led to me landing a few whales, which has been amazing. So
that's amazing.
I just think this strategy is awesome. And when you put multiple channels together into one, you just create this big giant network, almost like a spider web that you're creating from different omni channels, and it's just one big unit. Okay, so the ultimate way that I've been doing this is using LinkedIn to build up my audience, surround myself with my target, right? And it doesn't have to just be one single niche. You might niche down into several different sub niches or several different categories, but just surround yourself, especially if you have LinkedIn, surround yourself with who you want to target, build up your contacts to where you have thousands. Okay. And sure, you'll get leads along the way. You'll get your pitches, your connections, your your appointments just by reaching out to folks. But when you're doing that, you can, at some point, you can broadcast them, right? So let's just say you're almost essentially building yourself a very hot email list here. It's not cold email. You've already engaged with them. So they've already seen you. And then you can broadcast to them and just fill up your calendar. I do it once a quarter. That's why you see right here, it says retarget the world. I just have fun naming my funnels different things. This was what I did. So this year in quarter 3, I sent out a broadcast of 7,500. I got 1,200 replies. I filled up my calendar for several months. I didn't have to do anything. I still did, but I didn't have to. So I stayed busy for quite some time, and in that process, what I did was I scraped all of the data, everybody that messaged me, every single person that engaged me. I ripped a CSV file. And guess what you can do with that? You have emails, you have their name, you have their website, you have their phone numbers. I take that and I just plop it right into the IVR system and hit them with another campaign.
Fantastic.
So they're getting multiple touch points. You're booking multiple appointments. And like you said earlier, Kevin, you could follow up with the same folks that you've already pitched, or same folks that you've already sold. Maybe you want to re-engage and upsell them,
Exactly.
So you can do it for so many different things. But
I mean,
You know,
the good thing with IVRs, like guys, look, you know, you could have a old list, right? You could have an old list that goes, you know, a year back, right? For example, and now you could take that same list and, you know, just blast out a follow up, right? It could just be a simple follow up. It doesn't have to. You don't have to sell them anything, right? It's just something to stay in touch with. So rather than you picking up the phone, you can just load up these lists and just blast them out, right? Blast them out, follow up with them, get in contact with them. And all they need to do is to push a button and the call will come straight to you, right? Which is exactly what that Drew's doing. Now, as you guys know, with any sort of marketing, you need multiple touch points. In fact, you know, study shows you need 7 touch points, at least 7, for people to actually warm up to you. Now, Drew, I take it, look, you are contacting them through Messenger, you contact them through LinkedIn, and then you are having multiple follow-ups through IVRs. Is that correct?
Correct. So not only, so for example, let's say on my LinkedIn strategy, I have at least 2 to 3 sequences in that strategy. So they're already getting 3, you know, up to 3 messages there, right? And then I'll put them into the IVR and I'll do a campaign, maybe hit them like 3 or 4 more times, you know, with that. So I'll do a IVR phone call, I'll do a text message, I'll do an email, I'll do another phone call. You know, you just set up the campaign so you get those multiple touches and it just increases the results.
It's fantastic. You know? It's fantastic. Now, do you want to run through? So do you want to quickly run through these? So these are, take it, this is what.
So this is what I do on LinkedIn. I have a software that I use that's invite only. And what I use it for is basically a CRM and an automation tool. And I do it in a way where it's not robotic. It's more engaging. Remember, my whole idea, my whole strategy is I build up my network. So that first touch point, I don't give a crap if they book an appointment right away. That's not my goal. Okay. If they do, great, fantastic. It's a plus. But surround yourself with your network of whoever you want to target. In this case, I'm targeting podcasts, you know, radio show hosts, right? So I'm just surrounding and surrounding and surrounding. Once I build this up to a couple thousand, I hit them with another message, you know, and I hit them again, right? So you can broadcast different things with the LinkedIn strategy. You can do a similar thing with your Facebook tool. You do the same thing with the automation on Facebook. It's the same thing. You get that message out, you get your friends, they're coming in, and you broadcast the message out, right? And you take all of that data, whatever you grab, and see that little arrow right by the delete button.
Yep.
That's your tool. You just press that button and it pulls up a CSV file of all of those contacts, and it automatically scrapes all the data for you. So if they have their email, phone number hooked up to LinkedIn, which a lot of people do, it'll download everybody and filter them by if you've actually responded to their message, you know, so you can actually put them into different IVR funnels within that. If you really wanted to, you can split it up into different ones based on their engagement level, you know.
Right.
So that's the overall strategy there. Now the LinkedIn on its own, it is just fantastic. You know, I fill up my calendar with that on its own. But it's really a matter of being different, standing out, engaging, and several touch points. You know, I can't scream it enough. You just don't want to. You don't want to be robotic, but you also want to. But you want to hit them different ways. You know.
So guys, look. I mean, with IVRs, it's not so much about selling them on these automated calls, right? That's not the whole point. The whole point is to warm them up. Whole point is to create multiple touch points so that they can get on a call with you, right? And that's where you sort of build the value. You start the relationship, build some credibility. And look, if you've been seeing the training that I've done in the last couple of weeks, also, you know, Drew talks about Facebook marketing tools, right? So as you know, look, there is multiple ways to be getting scraping data. So obviously we've covered here LinkedIn. We are covering, so with Facebook, what you could do, you can go in different groups, and we have a prospecting system where you could literally go in, start conversations, just like what Drew's doing here on LinkedIn. He's also doing on Facebook as well. So you go into groups, you start conversations, and now you can tag them. Now you can label them. And now you can actually do a broadcast and broadcast to the entire list. And that broadcast, it shouldn't be, again, it shouldn't be about sale. It shouldn't be about, trying to sort of sell that in that message. It's all about keeping in touch and eventually building trust and eventually getting them on a call. So we do have a system with the Facebook strategy and IVR. And look, so Drew, I'll take it. Look, you are offering a service, a done for you service to help people scrape leads on LinkedIn. Is that correct?
Absolutely. A lot of folks don't know where to start on LinkedIn because it's so vast. You have restrictions. You have so many tools. You have so many people saying I can do this and I can do that. You really need to know where to start, how to do it without getting LinkedIn's attention the wrong way, and how to approach it correctly, because you don't want to be that guy who's just spamming the inbox.
Which is what most people do.
Right. Exactly. So you get lost. You don't get results. So I do it as a service where I'll actually hook up your LinkedIn to this tool and I will run it for you. I do the copy, I build the custom lists, I target your audience, and I build up your network, and I get you to where you have thousands and thousands of connections of your target audience that you can blast, that you can scrape, that you can take and drop into your other funnels, and it just works as a giant machine. So just imagine if you have Kevin's Facebook automation tool, you have my LinkedIn service, and you're bringing both into your giant list, your giant spider web network. And then you take that data, and if you didn't book an appointment, plop it into the IVR, hit them again while it's hot, get them re-engaged, book the appointment. There you go. You just have a big, giant organic system that works for you.
Fantastic. Now, guys, look, just who's actually using LinkedIn? Just drop a 1 below. Like, who's actually using LinkedIn for their outreach? I guess most people are just sending out emails, right? Most people are probably sending out emails. Most people are probably just making calls. Have it run in the past for clients, says John. Austin says no. So anyone else using LinkedIn? Guys, LinkedIn is awesome, right? It is absolutely. And when you combine LinkedIn with a professional network and a platform like Facebook, which pretty much has everyone on the planet, like half the population, it becomes a no-brainer. You will be able to capture pretty much anyone who's within your target audience. Some basic profiles with sales navigators. Right.
And that's one thing. The difference between LinkedIn and some of the other spots like Facebook is it's a professional network, like you said. It's designed specifically for the decision makers and for folks looking for employment, right? So put the employment guys aside and you're left with the employers, and you can get through to the decision makers by using Sales Navigator. I know someone mentioned they use Sales Navigator. But Sales Navigator, it's not just Sales Navigator. There's all kinds of data scraping tools that you can use to build these lists and that's how I build my custom lists, is I really get in there and I manually go through and I pick out who I want to target. you know,
Mm,
and I get a
mm.
list of about, 1 to 2,000 of them, plop them into my system. And the way that it works is that LinkedIn has a restriction of connection requests. That's very hard to get around if you don't know how to do it. You can upload emails into your LinkedIn as contacts, and that'll
Mhm.
actually get you over that restriction hurdle. You can pull people from groups that you're in, but the tool that I do, it does it for me. I don't have to do that. I don't have to go around. I'm averaging 500 to 700 connection requests a week when LinkedIn says I can only do 100.
That's fantastic. That's
You know,
fantastic. Because I
so
was going to
that's
say, like, I
yeah.
mean, that's usually the restriction, right? Because they've
Yep.
been sort of pretty tight on the number of requests. But that's fantastic. 500. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So the touches are there. You just gotta
Mm,
refine who you're targeting,
mm,
and
mm.
that's why I really, really, really stress surrounding yourself with people um, that you actually want to talk to, you know.
Mhm.
And I know everyone says niche down, but this is exactly one of the reasons why. Is so not
Yep.
only are you a specialist, but you can engage with that single audience in one hit with the same message, you know.
Absolutely. 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 Um, Now, so what about the new people? So I see a lot of people are saying they haven't been using LinkedIn and probably don't even have a LinkedIn profile. So if they're
But
just starting out, if they create a new profile, is that
yeah,
something you could
yeah,
manage as well?
absolutely. So that's something that you want to really focus on getting up and running. You want to do that correctly too. So I help optimize the profile when you're just starting out. I have like a little pool of different clients and different networks that we can actually do endorsement sharing. So on
Mm,
LinkedIn, and
mm, mm,
endorsements and skills and reviews are big
mhm,
on the profile.
mm.
So we can share some reviews before you want to jump into a full on campaign. You want to have at least 100 connections. So I would
Yep.
suggest that you get started. Just get it up. Just get the profile up. Doesn't matter if you're ready to go all out just yet, but if you're not on LinkedIn yet, get on LinkedIn. Just start exploring, connect with other people. The way that it works is it branches, right? So the more connections you have, the more reach you have.
Mm,
So
mm,
if
mm,
you start out at zero, you have to connect with a couple people. Doesn't matter who, just connect with them. They're going to know
mhm.
someone who's connected to someone else that is your audience. Okay. So that's how you find them. And then you're able to branch out from there and just connect with your audience, your audience, your audience. Because once you connect with your audience, they're connected with other people in that same audience, and
Of
that's just how
course.
you branch
Mm,
out from
mm,
there.
mm.
When you bring in Sales Navigator, that's when you really start expanding that further, because now you can reach their entire network, and now you can
Mm,
see
mm,
other
mm.
parts of the network that you can't just by doing a normal search. So that's why it's very important
Fantastic.
to get that Sales Navigator as well. But
Absolutely.
yes, I mean,
Hmm.
it's a process, but we do build from the ground up. And then we walk you every step of the way, and then once we hit about 100, that's when we really kick in the tool and start
Mm,
to
mm.
slowly warm it up even further. Um, you know, I think yeah, Austin saying he has about 400 connections.
400.
That's perfect. You're ready to go. I'll just optimize your profile and let's launch. Um,
Yep.
so from there, even if you're not, even if like those 400, even for example, let's just say that's not your target audience, doesn't matter. We're still going to
Mm,
use their network. Let's just build 600 new connections on top of that, and there's your
mm,
audience. And then you
mm.
can you can actually delete people if you don't want them or if they don't fit. Whatever you want to do, you can do it that way. But the whole strategy is when you kick off, when you start going, surround yourself with who you want to target. And I'm going to say it 1,000 times because it works.
Fantastic. So let's say, look, if some of the guys here want to get started with you, what's the process look like?
Right, absolutely. It's very simple. It's not complicated. What I do is obviously book a call with me so we can chat further. you know. But I'll send a onboarding form, and that onboarding form just has you answer a few basic questions, your login credentials. I love that picture. You should take another snapshot. So that it gives me your credentials, because I got to hook up through API, right? I need access to your actual LinkedIn account just for Sales Navigator purposes. And then there's a couple questions on there about your audience, your message, what your service is, the basic stuff like that. That's just the part so that I can do an actual onboarding session with you. So when you sign up with me, you get me. You also get my branding specialist, who will join us sometimes, and he will help you really, really dive in and figure out your target audience. Not only that, but craft your copy, your message. Not everyone's a writer. Not everyone has tools like Jarvis or knows how to use that. So we craft your message sequence to really capture what you want to say. And after the call, what we do is we write all that out. We send it for your approval, and then we launch. So it's not a complicated process. It's nothing that you're locked into either. I know it works. Everyone else that's done it with me know that you get results, so you're not locked in. It's a month to month. And we go from there.
Fantastic. So I take it you will actually optimize the profile for clients as well. Is that part of the service?
So I give suggestions. I do have some upgrades where I can offer more, or where I can go in there. I can literally just do it for you, with the profile. But that gets into like content strategies and social media management, things like that, right? Which can be its own service. If you guys do that on Facebook and everything, that works good too for organic reach, But that's also part of my suggestions is you still want to engage with your network. Just don't message them. Post just like you would on Facebook. Like, comment, talk to people, go into groups and create connections and pull them out, and and then put them into your funnel and message them. Do things like that. So you always want to be active constantly, and I can give you advice on how to do that, at the same time. So,
but let's just say folks are like, look, just do everything for me. You've got a service to do that as well.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
All right, awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the further along you are in the process, the easier that transition is. So if you already have your profile optimized, or if you have been in these classes and have seen the way that Kevin optimizes his Facebook, or William optimizes his Facebook, right? Take that same knowledge and apply it to LinkedIn. The only difference is you can't click on the header. You have to create contact info, right? It's a little bit different, but it works the same. Drop your calendar link on your profile, do things like that, right? And that's how you optimize it, so that when someone comes back to your profile, they're saying, oh, this guy's a specialist. But I can talk to him. He knows what I need. He's someone I can talk to, and then they'll be more willing to engage with you.
Of course. All right, that's awesome. Guys, is there any questions? Drop down in the comments. If there's any questions for either Drew or myself, you could ask them now, or you could just message us if you want to book a call with either one of us. There's our link here, or just message us and we'll organize a time. But anyone have any questions? Right. So John.
Right. That's a great question. You can do that. If you don't want to lose the network that you already have, you can create another profile. You just got to be careful, because you're building from scratch. If you mess up, they will ask you to verify with your license. Okay. So LinkedIn will, they will, they try to be a little bit more strict. Same with Facebook though. They'll put you in jail, they'll put you in Facebook jail. But the thing is you can, if you create another profile, I would say create it in a very similar name. Like for example, if your name is John, maybe do Jonathan, right? Or vice versa, something like that. But you can do like with my system, like I said, you don't have to just have one specific niche. Like what I meant by surround yourself with your audience is surround yourself with all of your audiences. I target a lot of folks. I target podcasts. I target yacht companies. I target in some cases lawyers and musicians and different things like that. But when I run the campaigns, I'm only targeting them specifically one at a time, right? So I'll do one campaign just for musicians and I'll build up thousands of connections and then I'll blast only those musicians, right? So you can do it that way. So you don't have to have multiple profiles if you don't want to. You can swap out your header image. It doesn't matter. Just swap out your content, so you're just layering and layering and layering. And the cool thing with this tool is you can pull these contacts out just from single campaigns, so you can filter them. So when you want to plop them into an IVR, you're not going to mix, you're not going to mix and match unless you want to. Who says you don't want
Fantastic.
to? Yeah.
So with the filter, I take it you can filter by different industries. You can, what kind of filtering?
Well, the filtering that I'm talking about, referring to, is by campaign. So they filter it by campaign ID.
Sure.
So for example, if I'm running a connection campaign and I'm targeting roofers, that campaign ID might be like 70, right?
Of course.
And then the next one I run will be 71. So when I pull the contacts, I'll just remember, hey, campaign 70, you can filter them in an Excel sheet just to campaign 70, right? And just put them in a different sheet. There you go. Boom. That's why it lets you name things. It lets you name your campaigns. You can name your retargeting campaigns, your broadcasts. Everything's nice and neat and organized. I keep statistics, all different kinds of things. And when I run the service for you, you don't have to worry about any of that. I scrape it for you. I give you the Excel sheet. You just let me know how you want it filtered. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, Drew, if you just want to quickly, so with Facebook, so how are you putting Facebook into, obviously you're using Facebook as well, using our scraping tool on Facebook. Now, how are you putting that together with the list to create this huge super list, right?
Right. So what I am doing is, you got, and don't get me wrong, you got to get down in the trenches sometimes, right? So the Facebook automation is coming in, and let's say you find someone that you really want to target, that you're engaging with, but you can't just get them to book, right? So I'll take them and I will go ahead and I will see if they're on LinkedIn. And I'll find them in LinkedIn, and then I'll find them and look at their friends, and I'll look at their connections, and I'll look at their network, and I'll run a campaign around them, and I'm hitting them in multiple places. So they say, hey, didn't I talk to you on Facebook? Oh yeah, you did. Perfect.
That's
oh
great.
Yeah, cool.
That's great.
And you just mix the two, but you're always collecting data and keeping track of who you talk to. So that's what I meant by just creating it as one big giant network. Is you're pulling Facebook, you're pulling LinkedIn, but you're targeting the same audience, and you're combining the lists into one, right? And then you take that one list and you put it into the IVR system, and you have more campaigns and more steps, and boom, hit them again.
Excellent. That's great. Guys, any other questions? I see there's a few people who got in late. Look, the recordings and slides will be available after the call. So give it probably a couple of hours, or probably a day or so actually. Will's a bit sick, so he'll need to upload that, but it will be available. But for those of you that have joined us late, what we've basically covered today was some use cases for IVRs, right? So how IVRs can be best used for your marketing, for your outreach, for your follow-ups. And and Drew here is applying all these strategies and has created this super giant social media lead gen machine from Facebook, from LinkedIn, and then combining them and retargeting them right here, retargeting them into a huge spider network, right? Literally a spider network. But look, I got to say, this stat is impressive, Drew. Blasting out 8,000 contacts and having 1,200 people reply.
Yeah, it's huge. I'm up to 10,000 contacts now since then, and I can't wait to launch this for Cyber Monday. Black Friday deals, and just run like a special.
Yes.
And the other thing that you can do too, like Kevin, like you were saying earlier, events, right? You can do so much. You can do VIP lists. You can broadcast folks and have them click a link, and that triggers. The one thing with the tool too is you can actually create a webhook. So you can, anyone that replies, you can send them right into Chirply if you wanted to. So you can create those integrations. You just got to get down and mess around with it. But so I think someone has a question.
Right here.
Let's see. Recent set of guidelines to avoid getting banned and locked out for number of connections. Right. So just like with Facebook, right? Facebook doesn't let you do a lot of actions, or it gives you like a little warning, right? Saying you've done too much today, something like that, right? LinkedIn's the same way, but the thing is with the tool that I use, if you follow, I don't really have a certain set of guidelines because they change constantly. But if you just follow the content strategy, make sure the rule of thumb is always engage no matter what. Okay. So always post on your posts, always communicate with your network, comment and like on their posts in your feed. Okay. Just stay engaged so it doesn't look like you're just sitting there blasting out messages all day long, because that's what they don't want. And the tool that I use gets around that. It doesn't blast them all out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a million at a time. It'll do it sporadically, just like if you guys have used any of Kevin's Facebook stuff, it times it, right? You can set the timer to come out. Maybe you send a request every 5 minutes, right? This tool does that timer for you, and it changes its algorithm all the time so that it doesn't get the attention, but let's just say it does get the attention. What happens? Like I said, they're gonna when you go to log in on your LinkedIn, it'll say if you did something wrong, it'll tell you, hey, we temporarily suspended you, just like Facebook putting you in jail. You got to answer these questions and upload your verification, right? Just do what they say. Just answer the questions, upload the verification, then you're back at it. They're not going to shut you down. Not if you do everything right and you submit everything. It's really not a big deal. But to avoid that altogether, just listen to our suggestions.
I mean, what I say to clients on Facebook, right? If they are prospecting on Facebook, as you said, Facebook, same as LinkedIn, it will pop up with a message that says, hey, it's almost like a warning, right? They won't really ban you for sending out too many requests, but it will just pop up message. So, it could be 20, 30, could be 50. The most I've done on Facebook is like 100. I think around about 95, 96. So you can be doing those numbers, but a lot of these social media platforms, they look for patterns, right? They look for patterns. If you are sending out, let's say 20 a day, and then suddenly you try and do 50, they will flag that, right? So it's about warming up, slowly building up your connection requests. But once those messages pop up, that you are sort of at your daily limit. And then you could sort of slowly increase that, every couple of days or every week, and then gradually increase that.
Yep, absolutely. Now, and these are all things that through my service, you don't have to worry about. I take care of for you. And if we run into a situation, we take care of it. We follow the steps and we get it done.
Fantastic. Jeff came late. Anyone been banned on Facebook? Look, Jeff, you could I could probably unmute you. You could share your experience. But look, I mean, Facebook, they don't really look unless you really sort of. I guess the biggest thing about Facebook and any other social media platforms is if you log in with the same profile in different places, they will ban you straight away, right? Because obviously it's against their terms. But as Drew said as well, if you want to have multiple profiles, you got to make sure they are completely different, right? Different names, possibly different IP address. Different pictures, because they are getting really smart, right? These are really smart. They've got really smart data matching bots. So look, but usually, if you are just sending out connection requests, you're sending out a bunch of messages, you won't really get banned as such. You'll have warnings, but you won't get banned.
Right.
If you just
I mean, I sent 3,200 requests this past month, and the limit's 100. I haven't been banned. Once you build up your connection to where you have thousands of connections and you're a paying customer to LinkedIn with Sales Navigator, they don't care. They're gonna leave you alone. They're just, and like I said, you gotta warm up, right? The tool's it's going to get you there. You just got to take some time with it. You got to let it do its thing, warm it up, take advantage of every single connection and engagement that you get, use it to, again, scrape the data and then plop it into the IVR system to hit it again. You're going to be doing enough stuff that you're going to be booking enough appointments just from the little sample size that you get for using all these different touch points, so.
Exactly. Now, as I said, guys, look, you could be using IVS for so many different applications and users. And look, the last few weeks, I've just been talking about outreach. But as you can see today, you could be doing so much more than just outreach, right? Because, as I said, it's all about multiple touch points, but ultimately you want to get them on a call. But nothing beats a phone call, right? Nothing beats them actually hearing your voice. And what we're doing with IVRs and why IVRs are it's so powerful is because you are creating so much, you are creating really small frictions for them to speak to you, right? Because at the end of the day, look, with any kind of marketing, you want to remove all the hurdles for them to get on a call with you, right? And all they need to do once they pick up the phone. And this is not a voicemail drop. This is actual phone call, which will ring. They don't have to reply. You don't have to wait for them to reply. They pick up the call and they just need to push a button, right? They just need to push a button. And as I said, look, it doesn't even need to be a salesy call. It could just be a follow-up call, right? It could be a special event announcement, right? And once they click that button, the call will be directly transferred, connected with you or your staffs. Right.
Absolutely. And same thing with getting on LinkedIn. You don't have to wait till your campaign's done. You can scrape that at any time. So just like you're saying, Kevin, get them while they're hot. Let's say you engage with folks. Maybe you want to wait till the end of the day or a couple hours into your day, check your messages. Boom, you get a bunch of folks that might be interested. You can put, hey, let's book an appointment as the next message, or you can grab their phone number, send them an IVR phone call. The phone call is much more powerful in some cases.
Exactly.
Right. So you could do it however you want. Get creative.
Exactly. And the good thing about IVRs, look, with the system, it's not just about IVRs, right? Because you can create workflows, you can hit them with the IVR and then follow up with an SMS, follow up with another email, right? So you can plan this out, you can automate the entire process, and build these huge, giant campaigns, which has landed Drew several world clients already, right? So, all right, guys, look, we might start to wrap this up. If you have any last questions, ask them now, or you could book a call with either Drew or myself later on if you want. So here's our details. Any other questions, guys? Anything else you want to add, Drew?
Well, I would say, anyone that did miss the beginning of it, just go back and look at the video. There's a lot of good stuff that we chatted about today. If you want to book a phone call with myself, this is, my link right here. You can, if you click, I have a couple options. So under my strategy, click on lead gen. If you click on lead gen, then I'll know that you're coming from here. And other than that, feel free to just have another conversation with me. I'll be more than happy to show you the in-depths of this strategy and show you how I use it directly with Kevin's tools and go from there.
All right, fantastic. All right, awesome. All right, guys. Appreciate you all coming to today's live training. Look, as I said, the recording will be available. The slides will be available as well. But probably give it a day or so, as Will's sick at the moment. So hopefully he feels better. And look, as I said, if you want to be booking a call, here's our links, or you could just message us, any one of us, if you have any questions. So, all right, guys, appreciate you all. And see you next week.
All right. Thank you, guys.
And thanks, Drew. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Kevin.